Yo guys, so firstly I've tried a live stream, hasn't worked. Realised they discontinued Google Hangouts, which is a bit sad, but such is life. Get on with it, crack on. Did try, went live, but the sort of the video was just messing up. So I thought just do a normal video for you guys and discuss a couple of things that have been going on in the boxing world. So I mean, a little bit to discuss. I don't think it'll be the longest video. Might just go on my signature bloody rants, as usual. A lot of things going on in the life of me. Good, bad, however you want to look at it. It's most people will see it someone on Instagram. Day to day, it's just working and football. It's very, very busy. So. Just keeping my mind occupied, firstly. Secondly, I just want to give a massive shout out to everyone who still tunes in, obviously. You guys are awesome. And I'd say more importantly as well, actually, or just as importantly, I'd say, had a couple of weddings. Two of my cousins got married. So I just want to say big shout out to making me feel very, very welcome, and just enjoying a lot of the events that have been going on. Again, if you're tuned into my Instagram, you would have seen a lot of the events going on, and if you're supporting the real people who support. I'll come back onto this in a little bit, but the real people who are supporting, a big shout out to you. There's just a few of you, and I love you guys. You guys are awesome. So big congratulations to my cousin Rupa. Rupa weds Locks. Rick weds Vic was yesterday and the day before. So massive congratulations to these guys. I was so proud to be a part of it and to play a big role, especially in my cousin Rupa's wedding. She's almost like a sister. So fantastic. Really, really good. On probably a lighter note, we'll talk about some boxing. Joshua's obviously been in the headlines. He's obviously been talked about quite a lot. I'm not really going to touch on him too much. I mean, let's be honest, you put AJ in the title, you're going to get probably like under 100 views or something like that. So, view whore maybe, but I think it's still relevant, especially in today's boxing climate, to talk about him. Albeit, I'm not going to go into massive amount of details, and to be honest, I don't really fucking have an opinion on it, to or for it. So, we'll just kind of discuss it as unbiasedly as possible. Secondly, GGG, Baturbia versus Vodzik, Billy Joe Saunders is probably the main one I want to touch on today. I specifically wanted to do the live stream, or at least a video, just for Billy Joe Saunders, to discuss him in, joining Matchroom. So, I mean, we'll touch on the Joshua news first. I mean, he's been going back and forth with Lennox Lewis. A couple of snipes and jabs have been said. Whatever's been said, I don't know. Honestly, I don't know what's going on behind the scenes. From what I hear from a lot of people, is Joshua is supremely confident going into the rematch with Andy Ruiz Jr. I mean, so you should do when you're a fighter. I just think he needs to change up. Let's look at the facts. He needs to change up what he was doing in the first fight. I mean, the first couple of rounds, they were nip and tuck. He's obviously knocked Ruiz down, top of the head. Ruiz came back quite well. He held it quite well. He wasn't enormously hurt, I'd say. But he definitely felt it. He's obviously gone down, come back, and he's knocked Joshua down almost immediately within the next sort of 15 seconds, 20 seconds. It's caught him with a sharp shot, top of the head, and Joshua's kind of never recovered from that. I just think he needs to box a bit differently. He needs to box how he boxed against sort of Vlad a bit earlier on in his career. He needs to push the pace in this fight, hold the centre of the ring, make Ruiz work. Make him work, make him try to come in, time him. It's pointless him trying to move on the back foot and throw single shots and then occasionally come in with the 1-2. it's not going to work. I just can't see it working against Andrew Rees. Andrew Rees got very fast hands. He looks very, very sharp in training. He's doing some. He was doing some pad work I saw with Manny Robles. Oh, fantastic! Some of the body shots, Dylan White-esque. I know Dylan White's obviously had this controversy recently. I'm not going to touch on that in this video, but Dylan White has a peach of a left hook to the body, especially in the heavyweight division. Andrew Rees, his left hook looked deadly, especially in these sort of sessions that I've been seeing. So yeah, I mean, Andrew Rees obviously looks up for it. One thing I will say is the money side. They need to sort out this. They need to sort out this money side and Saudi Arabia, if it's definitely going there, whatever. I've seen some press releases that it's going to Saudi. It's already in Saudi. It's booked and done so. Then I've seen Andrew Rees obviously come out and say, you know, we haven't signed with anything. So I don't know what's going on with that again. But listen, just want to see the fight, get the fight on. Whoever the winner is, there's big fights looming. Apparently Tyson Fury's signed for the rematch with Deontay Wilder on February 22nd. Obviously Tyson Fury's got a fight against Otto Wallin, the Swedish heavyweight who actually sparred with Joshua, I think prior to his fight with Charles Martin. So, I mean, he's okay. He's nothing special. People are going to slate Tyson Fury because, and this is not me sticking up for him, people are going to slate him because who's Otto Wallin? You know, you could fight a Luis Ortiz, you could fight these sort of guys. I know Luis Ortiz is probably, and apparently, sorry, I'm very tired. been a busy weekend. Apparently, sort of, Luis Ortiz is signed to fight Deontay Wilder. Sorry. So I mean, I don't know if that's happening or not. I haven't heard anything about Luis Ortiz being in training camp. I haven't heard anything. So again, that's all up in the air. But Tyson Fury, as the consensus #1 heavyweight, really needs to be fighting, you know, some better people. I don't know if that's his team. Obviously, he's got this massive deal with Top Rank and ESPN, so they're probably pushing it, thinking, "Oh, what's going on? Like, what can we do to get him a credible sort of name or a credible opponent with an unbeaten record?" Tom Schwartz was an unbeaten guy. Obviously, Otto Wallin is an undefeated guy. So Otto Wallin's probably best win is against Adrian Granat. So I'd say that's probably the best win that he has on his resume. But I mean, in terms of who has he really fought bar that, no one. So I mean, he's supposed to be a southpaw, a slick boxer. I don't really see the slickness. He's decent at what he does without being overly flashy or anything like that. He does the job. He just does it well. I don't think he'll give Tyson Fury too many problems. I mean, what it comes down to is you want to see Tyson Fury fight. You know, I don't know. Pulev's and not that I want to see him fight Pulev because that would be absolutely drab. But you know, these guys are floating in and around the top 10, top 15. You know, you want to see him fight these sort of guys and really put a marker down against these sort of guys. Really show his muscle and really show he is the consensus #1 heavyweight. Not fighting guys like Schwartz and Granat and these sort of guys. Schwartz, Wallin, these sort of guys, and they're not on the Gypsy Kings level. Let's be honest. But I mean, it remains to be seen if it's a management thing. Fair enough. Like Bob Arum is just he's doing what he needs to do. He's probably thinking lowest risk. You know, get a lot of money, and he can fight Fury. See what we can do. See what deal we can get for both the guys, and get them as much money as possible. I'm not, as I said, I'm not condoning that, but it's going to happen regardless, so we kind of just accept it and move on. It's a shit situation, but as I said, again, I hope he, after this fight, he actually does have the big fights. That's bringing me on brilliantly on to my next sort of guy that I want to talk about, or the next sort of boxer I want to talk about is Billy Joe Saunders. Billy Joe Saunders, you know, he's just signed with Matchroom Boxing, DAZN, whatever you want to call it. He signed with Eddie Hearn. Obviously, I think he's going to have one more fight that he's looking for come this year, and then after that, he is going to be looking to just have the big name. He said, "I want big name after big name after big name for 2020." Listen, it remains to be seen. I don't know. Again, it doesn't seem like a lot of stuff happened in the background with Frank. I think Frank done a fantastic job for him. Frank Warren did a brilliant job. He put up with a lot of Billy Joe's sort of rants and raves and antics, and he put up a lot with everything in regards to Billy Joe and outside of boxing. So I will sort of give him that completely, that he's done as good a job as he could. I just don't think the platform he was on with BT and Box Nation, I just don't think he could provide for the big fights for Billy Joe Saunders. All of the big fights were away from him, you know. Probably the GGG fight, very possibly. Maybe the Canelo fight. You know, even then I was sceptical. Sorry. Keep yawning. As I said, it's been it's ultra busy, such as life takes over sometimes, and again, do apologise that I haven't made videos regularly for you guys, but trying to keep up to date with it as much as possible. Again, keep following me on Instagram. You know, my Instagram link and Twitter link will be in the bottom. Keep following me on that, and if you keep asking me questions and whatnot, I will always come around to it, and probably end up making a video about it. So again, just keep tuning into that quick brief plug on the social media. Sorry about that. But yeah, Billy Joe Saunders, he obviously, I just think the fights that he could have got with Frank, they just weren't working for him, they weren't motivating him. And I think obviously now he probably has the Demetrius Andrade fight, the Golovkin fight is probably on the cards again, the Canelo fight's probably on the cards, especially with Canelo having this massive deal with DAZN. So, you know, there are massive fights out there. Callum Smith, Chris Eubank Jr. is a bit of a free agent, he floats about, so you could get that fight. I'm not saying I want to say that, I probably don't. The fight I want to see the least is the Chris Eubank Jr. fight. I just think Billy Joe Saunders, even if he fights him at 168, just schools him. He just absolutely schools him. Eubank has nothing, you know, he has nothing going for him in terms of boxing. I know people are going to say, oh, but, you know, he beat James DeGale, and he beat an absolute, you know, shot to bits James DeGale. And James DeGale in his prime would have absolutely schooled Chris Eubank Jr. Let's just be honest and objective on the channel. To be honest, I can't see a Eubank Jr. beforehand even beating James DeGale. But let alone, you know, at this stage of his career, obviously he's done a number on him because he's a lot older. So you know, I mean, I just wouldn't want to see that fight. I mean, nostalgia purposes maybe, but you know, Billy Joe, as in terms of competitiveness, nah, it's not competitive. So he fucking wipes the floor with Eubank for me. And a couple of my mates obviously, you know, chimed in on that. I just can't see it. It's like, but Eubank's still an exciting fight. He is, don't get me wrong. He's a very exciting fighter at his time, but he can only be so exciting against a punch bag against the wall in training, and against a punch bag that takes punches, you know, that basically just uses their face as a battering ram as defense mechanism in fights. If someone who moves their head and, you know, gives them a bit of angles, Eubank doesn't want that. So that's why I just don't want to see that fight. Callum Smith, I just don't want to see that fight because Callum Smith is too big. Callum Smith is huge. I think he might do well against Callum Smith at certain points, and it might give him problems, but Billy Joe's just not an actual super middleweight. I mean, he's done very well to win the belt. I mean, against Shifat Sufi, he won the belt. He got rocked in one of the rounds, the 5th and the 6th round. But, you know, I'm not saying that's because of the weight. Maybe he was out for a while. I don't know. But you know, Callum Smith is a massive guy. He's 6'4". He's bigger than me. He's huge, and he's fighting at 168 pounds. He's probably 168 pounds for a minute and a half on the scales, and he probably, you know, rehydrates to 190 or something like that. He is absolutely massive, and I just wouldn't want to see Billy Joe in there with Smith. It's just due to the height. It's nothing to do with skills. If they were a bit comparable in height, fair enough, but they're just not comparable in height whatsoever, and that sometimes the natural size does play a massive difference. So sorry. So yeah, just that fight again is there. Callum Smith's probably thinking, you know what, Callum Smith's a bit greedy, I'd say, and probably that's the fault of the World Boxing Super Series again, which I'll come on to. You know, he's got paid handsomely for winning the tournament throughout all of his whole fights. I was watching Mr. T-Bot on Boxing Talk with Addy. That's another channel that I watch. Him and Ultra Tech, I'd say, are probably the two that I watch. I don't really watch any other boxing channels, very scarcely. Maybe IFL just to keep up to date with some news, but that's about it. And he was saying, the Yusufi fight, and he was saying Smith. They were saying he probably wants to move down, and they shouldn't have shown the Nikki Holzken fight on pay-per-view, ITV. And I totally agree. Done a bit of a detriment to him. Not that Cameron Smith doesn't have any exposure, but just there was no need for that fight to be on pay-per-view. Could have just made it on normal ITV. Made the big fight with George Groves should he have been fit, which he was, but he kind of wasn't. And they could have made that pay-per-view, and obviously he won the Ali Trophy. George Groves subsequently retired after. It would have been a lot more. It would have hit home a lot more if he didn't have that fight just on pay-per-view. I think it made a big difference, especially now that he thinks he should be paid a set amount. Listen, to make these big fights, you've got to compromise. I think some of the prices of football, boxing, these sort of sports, outrageous at the moment. But this is the sort of money people have got to pay now, and unfortunately, this is their business as much as a sport. So people just got to realise that. But yeah, I think it comes down to that as well with Regis Prograis and Josh Taylor. That's supposed to be finalised for the end of October, London. I mean, let me tell you, if it is in London, I'm definitely going to that fight. Fantastic fight. One of the premier fights that I want to see in boxing today. The two best fighters in the 140-pound division. Fantastic. They really are. I mean, Jose Ramirez holds 2 belts, but I can't see Ramirez beating any of these 2 guys. Ramirez obviously beat Maurice Hooker for the belts. I think Maurice Hooker was the weakest of all the champions. Then Jose Ramirez, he's good, but I don't know. I think Prograis is very, very versatile. Josh Taylor as well. They're very versatile. I think that's the difference. Ramirez, does he have that extra gear? Can he adapt? Can he change tactics? I can't see it. But as I said, the Taylor Prograis fight, I'm hoping that happens. As I said, I've kind of had my opinion to that. I'd edge just to Taylor. But, again, it's a 50-50 fight. Prograis is a fantastic fighter as well. So it's a very much like a 51-49 what you like fight. But I just want to see that fight. And if I can get to see it live, all the better. GGG, apparently he's agreed, him and his team, and Derevyachenko, I think it is, they've agreed terms for a fight for the vacant IBF middleweight title. So that will be towards the end of the year. Let's see if that happens. I mean, we're waiting to hear about Canelo. So again, it's Canelo's not going to be fighting on Cinco de Mayo. It will be Emmanuel Navarrete. I think he's the top rank Mexican WBO super bantamweight champion, something like that. He got a win this weekend, I think, as well. He looks a very good fighter. I think he fought Isaac Dogbo a couple of times and he beat Dogbo twice. He looks a bit of a handful. He does. So they're probably going to be pushing that on Cinco de Mayo weekend. I've seen Bob Arum tweet about it a little bit, so probably push him. Is it Jay Munguia or Munguia? I think he's fighting for the last time at 154, and he'll be moving up to 160. He's struggling to make the 154-pound weight limit. I just want to say shout out to J-Rock, Julian Williams. I may have touched on him in my last video, but mate, he's done really well, man. Given that he had a setback against Jamal Charlo. Obviously, Charlo is now the WBC regular. I don't know. They made this franchise champion with Canelo. I don't know, but he's obviously a part of the WBC sort of title organisation, kind of. But he was the IBF champion, and I know that knockout was pretty brutal that J-Rock took against Charlo. The uppercut was lethal, and to come back the way he's done, and he's beat arguably the best guy at 154 in Jarrett Hurd. He's won 2 or 3 belts. I think he got the IBO as well, but that doesn't count. But mate, he's done really well. I give it to him. My hat off to him. So congratulations to J-Rock. I know that was a while ago, but I just wanted to mention that as we were talking about 154. So Munguia will probably move up. So that's another potential opponent for all the guys. 160-pound division's got guys there. I think Billy Joe, as I said, needs to move back down. Eubank could fight, probably a couple of guys get there as well. I know he's been fighting exclusively at super middle recently, but he could move down. I think he can still make 160. I don't think he's a big 168 pounder. So again, there's potential there. Caleb Plant, I think, is just a bit too big for those guys and too skillful. Probably one of the better guys there as well. 168. Callum Smith, obviously. Uzkat's guy. Who else? Darrell, I think he's at the end though, to be honest. He's fighting David Benavidez, I think. Benavidez, for me, should probably win that fight. Very good fighter in his own right. And very, very tall for the weight class. He punches hard. So, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of fights that are coming up. What was the other one? Artur Beterbiev versus Vodzik. I know we mentioned it briefly. I'll probably lean to Beterbiev. Vodzik, he takes a bit of time to get into the fight, and I think if Beterbiev does start fast, he might catch him, and I think Gvodzik will find it hard to deal with him at the start. Gvodzik's got youth, but I wouldn't say too much youth on Beterbiev. I think they're a couple of years apart, but both Olympians. I just think Gvodzik, he's there to be hurt, and Beterbiev can punch. So Beterbiev, he looked alright against Kalajic, his last fight, I think. The guy who got robbed against Marcus Brown, and Marcus Brown obviously lost against John Pascal, actually. So shout out John Pascal, obviously. He's fucking come and given a really good account of himself, and Marcus Brown got a rebuild, So he has had a couple of weird decisions. So maybe at that one coming, I don't know. Yeah, I wouldn't say he got a knockout coming, but it didn't perform well. It didn't perform well, I don't think. But did look like John Pascal was getting a bit tired. So maybe it'll be different in the rematch. We'll see. We'll see if they get sort of get the rematch going maybe towards the end of the year and see how the cuts heal for Marcus Brown. The big one, I think, for me, Sergey Kovalev versus Anthony Yard. I'll be honest. I had I wouldn't say a heated debate, but I had a very, very detailed debate about this fight with my barber. Shout out my barber. He is the man. Always giving me the freshest of fades. So yeah, he said, "Who you got?" And I said, "Listen," I was like, "I can't see anything. I can't see anything but a Kovalev win." Yard's going out there. He struggles to make the 175 limit. He just hasn't fought anybody. He's fought, and I think again, I was watching Boxing Talk with Addy with Mr. Tiba on there, and he was saying, I think the only guy that he remembers who has somewhat of a name on Anthony Yard's resume is Nikolai Sedloka, or however you say his name. But he's a career middleweight. He's not even a light heavyweight. So I mean, he's just got. I've seen him get hit a fair bit by a journeyman, Dimitri Sek, Anthony Yard, and I just don't know. I'm not fully sold on him. If he can go out to Russia and really do a number on Kovalev, and I mean outbox him to the high heels or knock him out, then do you know what? I'm going to be the first person to hold my hands up and say Anthony Yard, lions in the camp. Do you know what I mean? Because fair play, he would have gone over there, and that's not for me to say. I'm not rooting for him. He's a British guy. He's obviously going into the Lions Den. He's he's obviously he's given up a lot of step aside money by Canelo, from what I heard, couple of $1 million to take this fight in Russia in the champion's back garden and really make a name for himself. So he can do that. Fair play to him. We have a little wager. As I said with my barber, if Kovalev wins, he owes me a free trim. If Yard wins, I have to give him a tenner on top of my trim. So you know what, a little gentleman's bet there. As I said, we'll see. It's gonna be. I'm just looking forward to it. I'm really looking forward to that fight. It's a really good fight, and yeah, I just want to see how Yard fares in this sort of massive fight, especially at world level. Kovalev's only lost to Alauda Alvarez, or Andre Ward. So. Sorry, I just lost my bearings there. So it's been My mind's all over the gaff. So yeah, he's had a couple of those ones. So Andre Ward, no disrespect in losing to him, you know, he's a top fighter. Alado Alvarez, I don't know, he had some personal problems going on in the background. He's obviously come back and he's done a number on him in the rematch. But again, we've had a lot of rumours and gossip going on in the lead up to this fight. So what I will say is we'll just see what Sergey Kovalev turns up. I'm still thinking that he's still a bit too good, a bit too refined for someone like Anthony Yard. But again, it's a big fight, so especially in the 175, it could have the potential to change everything. Just how maybe Callum Johnson versus Artur Beterbiev had the potential to do it, and especially Callum Johnson came very close. Probably should have bounced on him pounced on him and just really like put his foot to the pedal, trying to knock out Beterbiev at the time. Obviously, it didn't happen, and Beterbiev subsequently knocked him out. But again, it's one of those ones. I'm just waiting to see how things go, and I think for me that was it. It came to about half an hour. Didn't really want it to be this long, but it is. So you know what? I just wanted to talk about a couple of things. I've been sort of, as I said, a couple of people have sort of messaged me on social media, and it's like, oh, it's been a long while. You've made videos, or it's been a long while I haven't seen you. Blah blah blah, mate. It's all smoke and mirrors. It's all bullshit. The people who do that just want attention. And it's like, people who actually give a shit about you or care about you, they will get in touch with you when they want to get in touch with you, or they will make a concerted effort to try and say, hope you're well, how's things going, it seems like you're doing well for yourself, X, Y, Z. A lot of these people, they're just fake, and it's all bullshit, it's all rubbish. So, guys, what I would say is, the guys who tune into my videos, as I said, I don't want anyone who is who just talks nonsense or like talks down to other people or whatever. We're all inclusive on this channel. We're here to talk about boxing. We love what we do, and it's watching the sport, and just being objective and being real. We're here on this channel to be as objective as possible, and no bullshit. There's no BS with me. As I said, if you don't like it, you know where that X button is. Click on that and fuck off. If you really support, shout out to you. You guys are a pleasure to see pop up on my timeline, and just knowing that I get that real love and support. I appreciate it. So I just wanted to say that as a brief message. Please do follow me on social media. You'll see a lot of things that you probably don't see on my actual channel, and vice versa. So go do that up. Jetin87, JETIN87, both Twitter, both Instagram. Give me a shout. Drop me some questions, comments, anything on the channel. We're always posting there. So especially on the Instagram, we're posting there a lot. So let's go build that. Let's push it, and just keep tuning in and keep showing that support. Like, share, subscribe, all of that good stuff. And yeah, speak to you guys soon. Look after yourselves, and peace.